Today, we're going to talk about a subject that's making headlines in the world of technology: Apple Intelligence, Apple's newest set of artificial intelligence tools. Apple Intelligence, launched with the iOS 18. One update promises to revolutionize the way we interact with our iPhones. And the great thing is that it's not just for the newest devices, although some features, such as Image Playground, will initially only be available for the iPhone 15 and 16 line in the United States. Apple has already announced that it intends to expand access to all devices compatible with iOS 18, including older models such as the iPhone 11. One of the most talked about tools in Apple Intelligence is writing tools. With them, you can revise, rewrite, and even summarize text in various applications, such as notes, mail and messages. You know that super long email you received and don't have time to read? Apple Intelligence summarizes it for you in just a few sentences. Just imagine, you're writing an important email and you need to sound more professional. Writing tools help you rewrite the text with a more formal tone in just a few seconds. And if you're too lazy to write, the compose function allows you to describe what you want to say. And Apple Intelligence, with the help of ChatGPT, writes the text for you. But Apple Intelligence goes far beyond writing tools. iOS 18.1 has also brought significant improvements to Siri. The virtual assistant is now smarter and can better understand the context of your questions, as well as recognize speech errors. And there's more. With Apple Intelligence, you can even record phone calls. The function, which is gradually being released for all devices compatible with iOS 18, allows you to record, transcribe, and even summarize your conversations in the Notes app. And for those who like podcasts, iOS 18 has brought several improvements to the podcast app, including interactive chapters with clickable timestamps and an instant search function that finds results in real time. But the big news from Apple Intelligence is Image Playground, a tool that lets you create images from text descriptions. You can even use your own photo gallery to create personalized versions of yourself, as if you were in a science fiction movie. Image Playground, along with the Genmoji function, which allows you to create personalized emojis with your own characteristics, are only available for the iPhone 15 and 16 line for the time being. But Apple has already stated that it is working to expand access to all devices compatible with Apple Intelligence. And to guarantee your privacy, Apple says that all information processed by Apple Intelligence is kept confidential and not shared with third parties. And speaking of photos, the Photos app has also received an update with Apple Intelligence. You can now use natural language to search for photos in your gallery. Want to find that photo of your cat on a chair? Just type cat sitting on chair into the search bar and Apple Intelligence will find it for you. Another new feature in Photos is the cleanup function, which allows you to magically remove unwanted objects from your photos. Simply circle the object you want to remove and Apple Intelligence does the rest. This function is great for getting rid of that person who has snuck into your photo or removing objects that are disturbing the composition of the image. And for those who like to create unforgettable memories, Photos now lets you create movies with just a text description. You can type something like cars in North Carolina with no people or license plates, and Apple Intelligence creates a movie with the photos you took during your trip. But the new features in iOS 18.1 don't stop there. The Safari app has also received some interesting updates. You can now use the summarize function to summarize articles and web pages in a few sentences. This function is great for those who want to get a general idea of the content of a text without having to read the whole thing. And for those concerned about privacy, iOS 18.1 brings a new feature called Apple Intelligence Report. With it, you can see a detailed report of all the information that has been processed by Apple Intelligence on your device. You can even export this report to a text file and check that no information is being shared with third parties. Apple Intelligence is a powerful tool that is changing the way we interact with our devices. With it, Apple is making artificial intelligence more accessible and intuitive, allowing anyone to use its tools to simplify everyday tasks and have a more complete experience with their iPhones. And the news doesn't stop there. Apple has already announced that iOS 18.2 will bring even more artificial intelligence features, such as the integration of ChatGPT with Siri and the Image Playground function, which will allow you to create images from text descriptions. Speaking of Siri, she's also smarter and more integrated with Apple Intelligence. Now, in addition to better understanding the context of your questions, Siri can also recognize speech errors and correct herself. You could, for example, start asking about the temperature and mid-sentence, change your mind and ask for directions to a location. Siri will understand the change and give you the correct answer without you having to repeat everything again. Siri is also more integrated with Apple products and can answer specific questions about your device. For example, you can ask, "How do I restart my iPhone?" And Siri will guide you through the process step by step. And if you don't want to talk to Siri, you can also type your questions into a new interface with suggestions that update in real time as you type. However, Siri is still not perfect. Although it has received improvements with Apple Intelligence, it is still far from being as intelligent as ChatGPT. An example of this is that when asked for vacation recommendations in Western Canada, Siri simply opens a web search, while ChatGPT provides a complete list of places to visit. The good news is that Apple has already announced the integration of ChatGPT with Siri in future iOS updates, which promises to make the virtual assistant even more powerful. Another interesting function that has arrived with Apple Intelligence is reduce interruptions, a new focus mode that uses artificial intelligence to determine which notifications are important and should interrupt you, even when focus mode is activated. For example, if you're in an important meeting and have activated the work focus mode, reduce interruptions will allow important notifications, such as messages from your boss or family members, to reach you. And for music lovers, iOS 18. One has brought some improvements to the music app. You can now control the music with your voice using more natural voice commands. Speaking of accessibility, iOS 18.1 has brought improvements for visually impaired users with the addition of new features for Braille. Users can now choose between different Braille input and output tables, as well as having access to a new automatic translation option. And for those who use the Braille display, iOS 18.1 brings new input options, such as uncontracted and contracted Braille, as well as reverse dot positions. iOS 18.1 also brings some minor changes, but they can make a difference in everyday life. For example, you can now set your iPhone to always show the volume control, even when the screen is locked. This feature is useful for those who frequently adjust the volume and don't want to have to unlock the device to do so. Another interesting change is the addition of a new volume limit for the built-in speaker. With this feature, you can set a maximum limit for the speaker volume, which is useful for protecting your ears and preventing the sound from getting too loud in quiet environments. And for those who like to use dark mode, iOS 18.1 has brought a new option that allows you to activate dark mode automatically according to the time of day or sunrise or sunset. This feature is useful for those who want to use dark mode at night, but don't want to have to activate it manually every time. Apple Intelligence is present in many iOS 18.1 apps and features, making the user experience smarter, more intuitive, and more personalized. And the new features don't stop there with the release of iOS 18. Apple promises to bring even more features with artificial intelligence, such as the integration of ChatGPT with Siri, the image playground function, which will allow you to create images from text descriptions, and the Genmoji function, which will allow you to create personalized emojis with your characteristics. Stay tuned for upcoming iOS updates to discover everything Apple Intelligence can do for you.